He still has some events in the east of Russia, certainly at this point in time. Russian media and also Russian officials, I wouldn't say celebrating, but certainly believe that for them it was a pretty positive outcome in the summit, Victor.
All right, Fred Pleitgen for us there in Moscow. Thank you very much. With me now, the former spokesman for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, Michael Bosicue. Michael, good to talk with you again. I had Jill Doherty on at the top of the last hour. You know Jill, former CNN Moscow bureau chief, and she said that this discussion of moving to a ceasefire deal, moving to the peace deal, not the ceasefire deal, could be an off-ramp for the United States to say, listen, this is the time to end this, and if you can't do it, we're washing our hands of it. What do you think about the plausibility of getting a peace deal if the president couldn't get a 15-day ceasefire?
Good to be with you, as always, Victor. Well, look, as a Canadian, I think I have a right to say this. I have a tough time believing anything that comes out of Mr. Trump's mouth or what he plans to do. Sure, this is what the Ukrainians want, is a long-term, durable peace deal, not something that is going to last just a few days. The problem of that, of course, well, there are two problems. Number one, who is going to be the guarantor? In other words, who is going to guarantee things if the Russians violate it, which they have a good record for doing? And also, you know, the process of verification, too, on the ground. If some kind of agreement is reached, what's going to be the mechanism to verify things? I think things are, they could have gone a lot worse for Ukraine in these talks. They could have been shoehorned into some deal, but I think we still have to wait until Monday to get a bit more, you know, light on what exactly was discussed and what's going to be proposed.
Are you convinced that that is not what is happening now? I mean, once immediately after this summit, it seemed as if it was one senator called it a nothing burger, that there wasn't much progress. But now to hear that the White House is moving to a peace deal, are you sure that they're not being shoehorned into some deal on Monday? We remember what the last appearance at the Oval Office was for President Zelensky.
Yeah, well, a couple of things here. I mean, look at what just happened in Alaska. You had a situation which was completely under the control of the White House, but yet it seemed as if it was scripted by the Kremlin from beginning to end, especially that so-called press conference there. As for what's about to happen on Monday, I'm very, very nervous about it. I actually have a gut feeling, Victor, that Mr. Zelensky is walking into another trap. In fact, given everything that has happened, I think Mr. Zelensky might want to think about sending a very, very powerful signal, not only to Mr. Trump, but Mr. Putin, and refuse to shake his hand. Just say, Mr. Trump, with all due respect, you just shook hands with a wanted war criminal. You just shook hands with someone with tens of thousands of blood of tens of thousands of Ukrainians. You just shook hands with someone who has forcibly abducted and taken to Russia thousands of Ukrainian children. That would be a very powerful thing to do. It would send a very strong signal also to his folks back home and among the diaspora.
But Michael, yes, that would send a strong message. But the last time that President Zelensky went to the Oval Office and he didn't say thank you, we saw what Vice President Vance did. Here's a reminder for people who don't remember February 28th.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
And for a president who prioritizes the personal relationships with these leaders, that would be the death knell for U.S. support for Ukraine, would it not?
It could be, but you know, Victor, we're finding out as Canadians, the others, especially Keir Starmer in the United Kingdom, that you can butter up Mr. Trump as much as you want to the extent that it's going to put his cholesterol level through the roof. But yet, he will turn on you. And we have found this out as Canadians. He, just before leaving for Alaska, said Canadians will do anything I want to right now. So that's why I've mentioned it here and in previous interviews that Mr. Zelensky would do well to study what has happened to Canada and take some cues from them. But yes, there is a fine line to walk, but more and more, the Europeans have taken on more responsibility for Ukraine. They're spending double what the U.S. has for defense of Ukraine. And Ukraine also has that domestic production. It's a very tough situation, but given, again, what's happened in Alaska, Zelensky could also say, hey, I'm not taking any questions from the media either, and let's see what happens with that.
Let me ask you about a policy more than just kind of the pleasantries. Do you think there's a scenario in which, to get that security guarantee, that President Zelensky would ever agree to a deal that would cede that land that Russia is in control of now in Ukraine?
100% no. And the reason I say that is not only is he hemmed in by the Ukrainian constitution, he doesn't have the right to give away land. He would go back home with another Maidan, another civil war on his hands. This is what I've been reading today in the Ukrainian language media on Telegram channels, is that so much blood has been shed, not only in this war, but in previous wars where Russia is the aggressor. The reason I say this too, Victor, is, as you know, I've been based in Odessa for a long time. I've been in Ukraine since the start of the war. I have visited personally many times those military cemeteries. I've talked to the families there. And those numbers are growing hugely. There's also cracks now in military recruitment tactics. People, yes, are tired of the war, but there's no way they're going to say, let's give up land for peace. That day passed a long, long time ago.
Michael Bossack, always good to have you. Thank you. Still to come, the Trump administration is dialing back its efforts to control the D.C. Police Department, but not letting go. What we're learning about a new power-sharing agreement. Also, Hurricane Erin has intensified now into a powerful Category 4 storm. Allison Chinchar is